We are told archaeology is about uncovering the truth, but sometimes it uncovers something dangerous. Not every artifact is welcome in the history books. Some discoveries shatter timelines, others destroy reputations, and a few are so controversial that governments step in to shut them down. When a dig turns into a dispute, the question isn't just what they found, it's why people are fighting to control it. Here on Signal 49, we are stepping into the resistance. These are the archaeological finds that challenged everything. Are you ready to see them? Let's dive in. Number 22. The Vampire Graves of Poland. Archaeology usually reveals how people lived, but sometimes it reveals what they feared. In a 17th century graveyard in the village of Pien, researchers uncovered a female skeleton with a sickle placed across her neck and a padlock on her big toe. This wasn't a murder, it was a ritual. The sickle was positioned so that if the deceased tried to sit up, she would be decapitated. The padlock symbolized the closing of a stage of life, ensuring she couldn't return. Local folklore suggests these measures were taken against strigoi, or vampires. People feared to rise from the dead to terrorize the living. It's a chilling reminder that for our ancestors, the boundary between the living and the dead was terrifiedly thin. Number 21. The 5th century mosaic of Erzin. You'd never expect a simple floor to carry this much history. Yet that's exactly what happened at Turkey's Erzin district. Archaeologists uncovered a 5th century mosaic, still bursting with animals, twisting plant forms, and Greek inscriptions carefully placed in red, white, and earthy stone. One corner holds a medallion built to symbolize the 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. And researchers believe matching designs once filled the other corners before time erased them. The building itself remains uncertain, possibly a chapel, shrine, or early church. Among the inscriptions is a prayer asking protection for Count Antiochus and his family, along with the names of Bishop Kairos, priests, and a deacon. Nearby, tombs point to a surrounding necropolis, suggesting worship and burial once shared this ground. This mosaic wasn't laid for beauty alone. It anchored belief, authority, and memory into the very surface people walked across. Number 20. The Sutton Hoo Ship Burial. In 1939, as the world stood on the brink of World War II, a quieter history was being unearthed in Suffolk, England. A wealthy landowner named Edith Pretty had a hunch about the large mounds on her property and hired an amateur archaeologist to dig. What he found changed our understanding of the Dark Ages forever. Buried beneath the earth was the ghostly imprint of an 89-foot-long ship. The wood had rotted away, but the iron rivets remained, outlining a vessel fit for a king. Inside lay a treasure trove of gold, garnets, and silver, including the iconic Sutton Hoo helmet with its iron face mask. It is believed to be the grave of King Redwald of East Anglia. Before this find, historians viewed early Anglo-Saxon England as primitive. Sutton Hoo proved it was a world of sophisticated craftsmanship, international trade, and immense power. A golden age buried just beneath the grass. Number 19. The Bishop's Bathhouse of Olympos. What surprised archaeologists in Olympos wasn't just what they found, but who it clearly belonged to. This ancient city, once a Lycian port in Turkey and a vital hub for trade and travel, revealed the remains of a bishop's bathhouse directly attached to his home. Measuring around 2,500 SQFT, the structure dates to the 5th or 6th century and was far larger than any ordinary private bath. Inside were signs of advanced planning, luxury mosaics, and construction methods unavailable to most homes. A full furnace-powered heating system was uncovered, confirming how elaborate the complex once was. Nearby discoveries included a Byzantine church with pebble mosaics, ancient cemeteries, and residential houses. During this era, bishops served not only spiritual roles but also civic ones, managing city finances and public services. On certain days, this bathhouse opened to the community, offering hygiene and health as part of the bishop's public duty. Number 18. The Secret Roman Hoard of Lower Saxony. You'd think a discovery this large couldn't stay hidden. Yet this one sat in silence for nearly a decade. A metal detectorist in Germany uncovered a massive hoard of Roman-era coins, jewelry, and silver bars dating back roughly 2,000 years. Instead of reporting it, he kept the collection for years before finally coming forward. When officials arrived to excavate the site near Borsum in Lower Saxony, they found even more artifacts, confirming it as one of the largest Roman hoards ever discovered in the region. Over 450 coins were recovered, most dating to the early Roman imperial period when emperors rose and the Republic had already fallen. Among them were gold coins, a ring, and a silver coin traced to the 1st century AD. Every item is now undergoing restoration and study as researchers work to determine whether the hoard was hidden for protection or buried during conflict. Number 17. Göbekli Tepe. For centuries, the story of human history followed a familiar and orderly path. Humans learned to farm, farming led to permanent settlements, and only then did complex beliefs and monumental temples emerge. That narrative stood largely unchallenged until 1994, when a shepherd in southeastern Turkey stumbled upon a hill that would quietly dismantle everything scholars thought they knew about the origins of civilization. Göbekli Tepe is composed of enormous T-shaped stone pillars, some weighing more than 20 tons, arranged in carefully planned circular enclosures. Each pillar is richly carved with reliefs of powerful and often dangerous animals. Lions, snakes, scorpions, foxes, boars, and vultures, rendered with striking detail and symbolic intent. These carvings are not decorative flourishes. They appear purposeful, repeated, and consistent across the site, suggesting a shared belief system rather than random artistic expression. Scientific dating revealed the true shock. Göbekli Tepe is approximately 12,000 years old, making it more than 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. Even more unsettling is who built it. The people responsible were hunter-gatherers, living before the invention of agriculture, pottery, metal tools, or the wheel. According to everything historians once believed, societies at this stage simply did not possess the organization, resources, or motivation to construct monuments on this scale. Yet, Göbekli Tepe exists. Its builders quarried stone, transported massive pillars, coordinated labor, and deliberately buried sections of the site when their use ended, suggesting ritual closure rather than abandonment. This has led researchers to a radical possibility: that organized religion may have come first, drawing people together for shared rituals, which then created the need for permanent settlement and eventually farming to sustain growing populations. If that interpretation is correct, Göbekli Tepe does more than rewrite a chapter of history. It flips the entire story upside down. Civilization may not have begun with food production, but with belief. This site stands as what many now consider the world's first known temple, built by people who, according to the old rules of history, should never have been able to build it at all. Number 16. The Royal Ice Warehouse of Ancient Korea. It sounds almost modern, but this story begins more than 1,400 years ago in Buyeo, South Chungcheong Province. Archaeologists uncovered an ancient ice storage facility tied to a powerful kingdom and nearby royal buildings. The structure measured roughly 23 by 26 ft, with an inner chamber carved directly into bedrock and shaped like a pit. Stone blocks lined the southern wall, narrowing the interior, while also providing insulation to slow melting. At the center, a drainage pit carried meltwater away, so the remaining ice stayed solid longer. During that period, ice storage was reserved strictly for royal families. Yet it played a major role in castle life by keeping food cool and supplying cold water during the summer heat. This site stands as the first fully unearthed and studied ice warehouse from that era, revealing how advanced preservation technology quietly existed centuries before mechanical refrigeration. Number 15. The buried Shiva temple of Patna. Under a garbage dump near the city, archaeologists uncovered a Shiva temple dated to around 500 years ago. Alongside the structure itself was an unusual set of footprints believed to be connected to a monastery. A Shivaling was discovered almost immediately, confirming the site's religious purpose. The temple was built using smooth black stones, though water had seeped through sections of the walls over time. Estimated to date back to the 15th century, it stands as one of the most intact examples of its kind. Even more striking, the temple had been sealed inside a house that was locked and abandoned nearly 50 years ago, unknowingly protecting it from destruction. What looked like forgotten urban ground turned out to be a preserved place of worship carrying ritual memory where no one thought to look. Number 14. The Constantine silver ingots of Ukraine. This discovery didn't come from a dig site, but from an online listing. 3 Roman silver ingots appeared for sale, and the seller claimed his great-grandmother had found them in her garden years earlier. Authorities traced them to Transcarpathia in western Ukraine and searched the home, uncovering 2 more. Each ingot weighed over 12 oz of pure silver and bore the stamped face of Emperor Constantine the Great, who ruled from 306 to 337 AD and introduced Christianity to the Roman Empire. These ingots were used for coin minting, and those bearing Constantine's image were produced between 310 and 313 AD, often bound in pairs or trios. Sets of 3 were reserved as gifts for high-ranking figures. Only 90 Roman silver ingots are known to exist, and just 11 carry stamps. That makes this group exceptionally rare, both for its material value and what it reveals about ancient exchange beyond Rome's borders. Number 13. The Memorial Coins of Sambal. You don't usually expect a riverside memorial to quietly hold centuries of untold life. Yet, that's exactly what happened in Sambalpur, India. At a memorial site, archaeologists uncovered 400-year-old coins, along with ancient pottery, that opened a small but revealing window into the region's past. The site had been excavated several times before, but erosion from the river slowly stripped away soil, exposing skeletons, a water pot, stones, and small everyday goods. Finding a few coins here has always been common, and locals have noticed them surfacing for years. What made this moment different was the size of the collection. Larger groupings are rare, and this discovery stood out immediately. Together, the remains and objects suggest ordinary lives once moved through this space, leaving behind fragments of trade, ritual, and daily survival that only water and time were patient enough to uncover. Number 12. The Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, divers exploring a shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera found a corroded lump of bronze that looked like nothing special, but when X-rayed decades later, it shocked the world. Inside were at least 30 precision-cut bronze gears. This wasn't just scrap metal, it was the world's first analog computer. Dating back to the 2nd century BC, the device could predict astronomical positions and eclipses decades in advance, with accuracy that wouldn't be matched for another 1,500 years. It suggests that ancient Greek technology was centuries ahead of where history books say it should be, leaving us to wonder what other machines rust away at the bottom of the sea. Number 11. The Screaming Mummy. Among the royal mummies of Egypt, one stands out for all the wrong reasons. While pharaohs were buried in peace, this man was found with his mouth thrown wide open in a silent, eternal scream. DNA analysis identified him as Prince Pentawere, the son of Ramses III. Historical records reveal he was involved in the harem conspiracy to assassinate his father. His plot failed. As punishment, he was likely forced to commit suicide and was denied a proper burial, wrapped in sheepskin, a material considered ritually unclean. His agony was preserved for 3,000 years, a warning to anyone who would dare strike at a king. Number 10. The Nebra Sky Disk. This artifact didn't come from a university dig. It was found by looters in Germany who tried to sell it on the black market. When police seized it, archaeologists realized they were holding something impossible. The bronze disc, inlaid with gold symbols, dates to 1600 BC. It depicts the sun, the moon, and the Pleiades star cluster. It is the oldest concrete depiction of the cosmos ever found in human history. Until this discovery, experts believed northern Europeans of that era were primitive. This disc proved they had sophisticated knowledge of the stars, challenging the idea that only Egypt and Mesopotamia were the centers of ancient science. Number 9. The Nazca Lines of Peru. Some discoveries aren't meant to be seen from the ground. In the arid desert of southern Peru, ancient people etched massive geoglyphs into the earth that remained largely misunderstood for centuries. It wasn't until the 1920s, when commercial aircraft began flying over the region, that the true scale of the Nazca Lines was revealed. Spanning over 190 square miles, these lines depict massive animals: a hummingbird, a spider, a monkey, and strange geometric shapes that stretch for miles. Created between 500 BC and 500 AD by removing the reddish-brown iron oxide pebbles to reveal the light-colored earth beneath, the question remains, why? Since the figures can only be fully appreciated from the sky, some theorists suggest they were messages to the gods. Others believe they were an astronomical calendar or markers for underground water sources. And to this day, the Nazca Lines remain one of archaeology's greatest riddles. Art created by people who would never see their own masterpieces. Number 8. Caligula's Lost Garden, near the Vatican. Modern Rome rarely gives warning before ancient power surfaces beneath it. That tension became real during the construction of an overpass at Piazza Pia, where workers uncovered travertine walls belonging to a garden overlooking the Tiber River. The space was identified through a lead water pipe stamped Caius Caesar Aug Germanicus, directly linking it to Caligula. He rose to power in 37 AD and ruled for only 4 years before his assassination in 41 AD. The garden sits close to the Horti Agrippinae, estates once owned by his mother, Agrippina the Elder. Additional pipes found in the area since the early 1900s carry the names of other rulers and noblewomen, slowly rebuilding the social map of this district. What appeared to be construction debris turned into a preserved corner of imperial life, hidden just beyond the Vatican's edge. Number 7. The medieval braces of the Countess of Laval. Beneath a chapel floor in France, a burial opened a door no one expected medieval medicine to walk through. In 1987, excavations under the Vieux Château de Laval revealed a lead anthropoid coffin resting inside a wooden sarcophagus. Inside lay the remarkably preserved remains of the Countess of Laval. Her body had been embalmed, wrapped in canvas, and tied with hemp cords, while a heart-shaped cardiotaph marked where her heart once rested. X-rays later revealed gold wire tightly bound around several teeth, functioning as early braces. One artificial tooth carved from elephant ivory had replaced a missing original. Her organs had been removed and replaced with herbs and berries, while her heart was stored separately. Years later, additional bones were discovered nearby, including those of her son Guy, Count of Laval. What began as a noble burial quietly became one of the oldest known experiments in dental correction. Number 6. The Dual God Temple of Kom Ombo. Along the Nile's curve stands a structure built around spiritual balance rather than architectural symmetry. Kom Ombo was constructed in the 2nd century BC under the Ptolemaic dynasty and uniquely honored 2 gods, Sobek, the crocodile deity, and Horus, the falcon-headed god. Later expanded under Roman rule, the temple remains lined with carvings, sacred scenes, and a holy well. Within its chambers, archaeologists uncovered mummified crocodiles, giving rise to names such as House of the Crocodile and Castle of the Falcon. Egyptians believed temples were literal homes of the gods. Priests performed rituals inside to maintain cosmic order, while worshippers prayed and left offerings outside. When Christianity spread, the temple fell into disuse and was later damaged by the Coptic Church. 19th century restoration revived what survives today as one of Egypt's clearest expressions of dual worship. Number 5. The giant giraffe carvings of the Sahara. Long before the Sahara became a sea of sand, people left their presence written into stone. In the desert, archaeologists discovered 2 life-sized giraffes carved into sandstone, now known as the Dabu giraffes. They are the largest animal petroglyphs ever found. One towering male stands before a smaller female, stretching over 18 ft tall. The carvings were shaped using smoothing, deep engraving, and scraping techniques. To protect them, casts were made and housed in agades and with National Geographic. A water well was installed nearby to support a local community, now guiding visitors and preventing damage. Stone axe heads, pottery fragments, and other artifacts revealed trade routes and daily life that once passed this way. These giraffes do more than decorate a rock. They preserve human skill, vanished environments, and the memory of people who lived where only desert remains. Number 4. The lost Tudor manor of Coles Hill. Construction crews weren't looking for history when the stone towers surfaced near Coles Hill, but they uncovered it anyway. The remains belong to Coles Hill Manor, a Tudor-era estate, long believed lost, and once owned by royalist Simon Digby. Its position immediately raised attention. The structure sits along the route leading to the Battle of Kerdworth Bridge, and the exterior walls are scarred with deep pockmarks consistent with gunfire. Those markings sparked two competing theories. Either advancing forces fired on the manor as they moved toward the battle, or Digby's own men used the site for weapons training while preparing for war. The house controlled a key path linking the bridge to the battlefield, making it a strategic point of movement and access. Its rediscovery doesn't just restore a building to the map. It introduces a physical witness that may reshape how the opening stages of the English Civil War are understood. Number 3. Charles V's double-barreled wheel-lock pistol. At first glance, it looks like a weapon, but it behaves like a statement. Crafted in 1540 for Emperor Charles V, this double-barreled wheel-lock pistol merges firearms engineering with political symbolism. Two barrels, two firing mechanisms, and unmatched precision for its time reveal the influence of its maker's background in watchmaking. Reliability mattered, but so did appearance. Ivory and staghorn inlays decorate cherrywood, while gold engravings carry imperial emblems, the double-headed eagle, and the Pillars of Hercules. Even the Spanish motto Plus Ultra is etched into metal. Weighing nearly 6 lbs, this was never meant for quick combat alone. It projected authority. Few firearms survive that so perfectly blur the line between deadly technology and royal identity. Number 2. The Tapestry of Creation, Girona. This artifact doesn't announce itself loudly. It pulls you in slowly, thread by thread. Housed in the Cathedral of Girona in Spain, the Tapestry of Creation dates back to the 11th century and ranks among the most important Romanesque textiles ever preserved. Measuring roughly 10 by 20 ft, it presents a visual interpretation of the Book of Genesis, from the formation of the cosmos to Adam and Eve's expulsion from Eden. Animals, celestial bodies, winds, and seasons are stitched with remarkable precision, revealing theological ideas through fabric rather than stone. More than decoration, the tapestry functioned as instruction for a largely illiterate medieval audience. Few artifacts capture religious belief, artistic ambition, and fragile craftsmanship in a single object. Number 1. The Lost Shakespeare First Folio of France. In 2014, scholars discovered an original 1623 Shakespeare First Folio quietly sitting in the small library of Saint-Omer near Calais, France. The folio contains 36 of Shakespeare's 38 known plays, printed just 7 years after his death. It was missing a title page, likely explaining how it escaped notice for nearly 2 centuries. Compiled by his friends John Hemingis and Henry Condell, the First Folio is considered the most important publication in English literature. Only around 230 copies survive worldwide. Its rediscovery wasn't dramatic, but its implications were enormous. Few artifacts reshape literary history simply by being noticed again. So that brings us to the end of today's journey through history. If you enjoyed exploring these discoveries with us, now's the perfect time to show your support by giving this video a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our future deep dives into the stories that shape our world. Thank you for watching.